Hello and welcome to the NNY pregame show. I'm Joe Manganiello alongside John Day. John, we got 3 Section 3 football games to talk about. Probably the biggest one coming into this weekend is Indian River versus Carthage. It's been a familiar season for these two teams.
Yeah, they play head-to-head every year. This will be the second year in a row that they've played in the sectionals. Last year, of course, that dramatic one-point win by Carthage in the sectional final after Indian River had beaten them by 20 points in the regular season. This year, kind of the same thing. Indian River handled Carthage by 20. I think Indian River probably has a little more to play for. They still remember that loss in the Dome, and that's going to haunt them for a while. Carthage is just trying to regain some of that focus that they had last year. I look for this game to be a little bit closer than the last one.
Now, both of these Class A opponents coming off big wins last week. Indian River, they've been playing great all year, and they beat up on Oswego, the 8th seed. So they come into this game with a lot of confidence on the offensive side of the ball.
They're just terrific on offense. I mean, they average 9 yards a carry. They got 3 or 4 different men that can carry the ball. You stop one, it's hard to stop all 3. They're throwing the ball better than they did last year. Their defense has really gotten a lot better as the season progressed. So they've been by far the best Class A team in the section all year. I just don't see Carthage holding them enough to win this game.
Now, if Carthage does have success this weekend against Indian River, there's really one name and one name alone that will be at the forefront of that, and that's Josh Capers running the football.
He's a terrific back. I mean, one of the best backs in Section 3. He's got almost 1,600-yard rushing, 25 touchdowns. The only problem with that, he's almost 70% of their offense, so they get very little from some of their other playmakers. Their quarterbacks haven't produced a lot. They really miss Bailey Wilkinson, who kind of ran that ship last year and made all the big plays. They really need somebody else to step up. It's going to come down to, if Carthage can control the ball a little bit, keep the Indian River offense off the field, they probably got a shot. If they don't do that and turn the ball over like they did in the first game, it's going to be a long night for Carthage.
Now, John, why don't we head over to Class C and talk about another repeat playoff game. For the 3rd year in a row, we got General Brown taking on Utica Notre Dame, 2 of the best teams in their respective class, in what figures to be as tight a game as we've seen the last 2 years.
Right. 2 years ago in the first round, that was a 3-point game that General Brown scored with 10 seconds to win that game. Last year was a semifinal game. General Brown stopped the 2-point conversion with a minute left. So these two teams are battle-tested against each other. They know what to expect, and I really think this is going to be a terrific game.
Now, General Brown coming off a big win against Sherburne. Great performance on offense. Evan Will with 2 throwing touchdowns. Their defense ate up the passing attack of the other team. Can they replicate that type of performance this weekend?
It's hard to say. Their running game has improved as the season has gone along. Zach Petrie, their best runner, has gotten healthy. He's running like he did last year when he had almost 1,500 yards. They threw the ball last week probably better than they have all year. They're going to probably need to do that. But the key for General Brown is how do they stop Utica Notre Dame quarterback Kevin Warmack? He's, in my mind, probably the best player in all of Section 3. He's accumulated almost 2,500 yards of offense. He's scored 18 touchdowns, passed for 14. He's an unbelievable player, and if they can slow him down just a little bit and maybe hang on to the ball, they probably got a chance. If they let him just run around all over the field and make plays, it's going to be a long day for General Brown.
Now, John, let's wrap up with our final game of the weekend. Class D, Sandy Creek taking on MorrisvilleEaton. Sandy Creek has been a wonderful defensive team all season. They're coming off their 4th shutout of their season. How do you think they fared this weekend?
Well, anytime you play great defense, you got a shot. And they've played great defense all year after losing 9 of their best defensive players last year. So they've done a wonderful job of rebuilding. They got a lot of guys that can tackle, a lot of great playmakers. They force a lot of turnovers and then capitalize on those. MorrisvilleEaton's kind of an unknown team. They've merged with Hamilton a couple years ago because Hamilton was forced to drop their program, and they've slowly built into a successful program. Their only loss was to Dolgeville, which is unbeaten. They've barely won a few games and won a few games by a lot of points. So it's hard to judge this team, but Sandy Creek's defense is really, really good, and I don't see Morrisville scoring a lot of points in this game.
Well, to go along with that great defense, they also have Kyle Fayette and Cameron Hall on the offensive side of the ball. John, it's going to be another fun weekend for Section 3 football. Thank you for tuning into the NNY pregame show.